Is there anybody here for the first time that's never been here before that would like to say hello? Unmute yourself and say hello. Let us know you're here. Anybody? Nobody knew. Okay. So today is, this week is the anniversary of the beginning of this meeting, which is really cool. It's been a year. A lot has happened in a year for some of us. A lot has happened to me in a year, even though my weight's the same. I just feel healthier. I feel stronger. I feel really connected. It's just like all that stuff. Everything's important. You know, the whole picture. You know, there's a big picture, and weight's part of it. Feeling really good emotionally and physically and spiritually is just really where it's at, you know? So I think a lot of us have lost weight. A lot of us feel a lot better, and that's always a good thing. So let us open.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Lulu's Way Healthy Food, Healthy Life. My name is Nicole and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be your host this evening. To keep this meeting free from distraction, we ask that all in attendance please mute yourselves unless you are speaking. We also ask that you keep the video mode turned off if you are doing anything other than sitting and participating in this meeting so that we can minimize distraction. In this community, we gather to support, encourage, and inspire on the benefits of nutrition, weight loss, wellness, and the joy that comes from choosing to serve yourself well. We are not medically trained, nor do we have formal training in nutrition. We come together here for the sole purpose of providing support, sharing experiences, and promoting a healthy lifestyle. It may be wise to check with your healthcare professional with any dietary suggestions or advice you receive from this group discussion, particularly if you have health challenges. Individuals in this group may have different ideas on how to eat healthy. Just figure out what works best for you and do it your way.
Terrific. Thank you for doing that, Nicole. Is there anybody that maybe just came in that's never been here before that would like to say hello?
I'd like to say hello.
Hi.
I'm Julie from Oklahoma. I've been a little bit of a lurker, and I keep watching them all on the recordings, and I'm still so inspired. I just thought, well, it's time for me to speak up and say hi.
Oh, I'm glad you did, Julie. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Yep. Very good. Thanks for speaking up. Anybody else new? Oh, okay. So we can head into our topic, which is...
Our topic is, how did your on-plan Christmas go? So we just had Christmas or some big holidays, so we thought it would be great to debrief and really hear how it went.
I would love to hear, first, I would love to hear from all of those who stayed on plan 100% through the holiday. Just want to hear your experience with that, especially if it was the first time you've ever done such a thing, because it's a really odd thing, and it's not odd for me anymore, but I remember the first one feels a little odd. I would love to hear from anybody who really just was like, this is just like every other day. As far as my meals go, this is just like every other day.
Barb from Rhode Island.
Hey, Barb.
Hey guys. Well, I brought my dinner to Christmas dinner, which my sister-in-law knows about, and it's all good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell you a funny, because we have big ass salads for dinner, right? We got the grains and everything in there, and she was putting on a buffet, and she goes, "Oh, I forgot the salad," and she goes out and she gets the salad that's supposed to feed like almost 10 people, and it wouldn't even have been enough for my big ass salad. It was like the smallest little salad. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of looked at it and chuckled and said, well, good thing I brought my own, because otherwise nobody else would get any salad, because I would have to take all of that.
Yeah.
But one comment at the table, and Sue I wasn't going to respond to it. And then Sue just goes, oh yeah, she just has her own deal. And then that was the end of that.
Oh.
So that's always good. But I had to tell the story just because it was funny.
Yeah.
That the salad that was for 10 or whatever it was, I can't remember how many people were there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have fed us. So
yeah,
that's kind of.
and you know Christmas Eve at my niece's, she had this big Italian spread, but there was also a salad there, and it was probably about the same size as mine, for the whole table, and there was barely a dent in it. You know?
I know.
Yeah, there's barely a dent in it. That's why they make them small, because people just get a couple of little pieces of, or maybe if they want to, you know. But yeah, I'm just, just saying. I was just very, very happy with my salad. And then the next day as well, I had got the Chinese food for everybody, and it was perfect timing. It lined up. I didn't even really do it on purpose, but it lined up with my meal time. And I just had my salad out there while they all enjoyed the Chinese food. And, a lot of that stuff has sauces on it, even if they're white sauces, they're made with flour, and a lot of the sauces are sweet. I have no interest in even going and figuring it out, and I don't need to figure it out, I just, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's what you
My
did.
sister-in-law, she asked me, she said, well, can you eat dessert? And I go, oh, I don't eat dessert. I said, the sugar just gets in my brain and drives me crazy. And she goes, you know what? I never eat dessert, but like I have one something at Christmas time, and then it's like a nonstop feeding fest. And I said, yep, that's because sugar's the devil.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I didn't tell her sugar was the devil. I said that for you guys, but
yeah.
But what she did, she goes, yeah, I think there's something to that. And I go, oh yeah, there's something to it. So I'm very fortunate that I have had no desire whatsoever for any sweets or anything.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. It's all over my house. Like Christmas threw up here. My neighbor brings over this big thing of cookies, and there's like 42 different kinds. And she's got bourbon balls, and they're like my favorite. And I don't even drink, but I do like the bourbon ball. But I haven't had a bourbon ball in 2 years, so not going down that slippery slope.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's enough for me. But yeah.
It was funny. My nephew's son, he's 6, and he was here with us yesterday. And when the meal was over, he was like, Auntie, when are we getting dessert? And I was like, oh, never even thought of that. Never even thought of it. I was like, there's no dessert here, honey. This is like, I said, this isn't really a place. My house isn't a place you come for, like, to eat, because like he's picking through the Chinese food. He didn't want anything. I want something else. And I'm just like, you're in the wrong house. You're in the wrong house for anything that a 6-year-old will want. Even the adults don't want what I have, but it's just like, the fact is that there wasn't a dessert, and I didn't not get a dessert on purpose. I just honestly didn't even think of it. And nobody really cares except for the 6-year-old.
I did want to say one more thing, is that they asked me to bring a vegetable, and so Sue wanted me to bring sweet potatoes, which we all know is not a vegetable, right? But I said, okay, I'll bring the sweet potatoes for the vegetable. That's fine. And I put some apples in it, and then it has brown sugar, white sugar, butter, all of it, right? That's how they like it. And my niece, she had just had a baby. The baby's 5 months old. And now one might think that would be something good to give the baby because it's mashed sweet potatoes and apples, right? But I told her, I said, you don't want to give the kid any of this. I said, there's so much sugar in this. I said, you do not want, you don't. And she goes, oh, no. We only do, mashed stuff if there's nothing else in it. And I said, good. Because, no need to start a 5-month-old with the crazies, right?
Right.
And because that's what happens is they start on that stuff and so.
And really think about that. Sweet potato with apples and all kinds of sugar and stuff. It's like dessert.
Yeah.
Never mind that it's not a vegetable.
I meant to say butternut squash. I'm sorry.
Oh, butternut squash. Oh, okay. Butternut squash with all the the fruit and the sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
even
still,
a dessert. Yeah.
You don't want to serve that to a baby.
No.
Or even a child, really, because that's what starts it, right?
Yeah, but don't they all get started? I mean, there's not too many kids that are not eating no sugar, you know? It's just
I know.
kind of not the way it works,
Yep.
you
Takes a
know?
special parent.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not didn't mean anything by that. I'm not judging anybody, but to have that kind of control to feed your children just
Yeah.
non-processed foods is difficult. So
Right.
not judging anybody. I don't have children.
Yeah,
I don't
and you know,
judge.
and then they go to like school. They go to friends' houses, and there's all the stuff, and it's like, what do? How can you even police that? And do you want to? Do you want your kid to be the one that doesn't have it? I don't know. It's just it's the culture, you know. It's sugar.
It's the devil.
It's the devil.
I think we need to have T-shirts made with Barb's face and that saying.
I know. Yeah, Barb's face with little horns on her head.
Mm-hmm.
And a pitchfork.
I'll just say about that, I have an aunt who, well, I have a batch of cousins who all grew up thinking a bowl of fruit was dessert. And I know when I was at their house, I was like, no, where where are the cupcakes and the brownies? And they're like, we get to pick out of this bowl, an apple or a orange or a plum. And I was just like, something's wrong here, but
Yeah.
they're all naturally, they could have it, but they just didn't have it at home on a regular basis. And they're all, that whole batch of cousins is just thin, and healthy. So they just didn't grow up thinking, like my aunt and uncle just really didn't want it in the house as a rule, and it wasn't part of like their daily life. So yeah.
So Nicole, how did your Christmas go? Because this would have been your first Christmas on plan.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It was my first Christmas totally on plan, because last Christmas was close, but not 100%. And I tell you, it's just so stable and wonderful. I noticed like we're getting a lot of things from the neighbors, and things sent home from my mom's, and Ron's eating it all, and he's like full and sick of it. And he's saying things like, oh, I just can't wait to get back to normal. And I remember like when I used to eat all the treats and all the things, I didn't get back to normal. I wouldn't think, oh, now I've had this stuff all day, so tomorrow I'm going to have a salad for lunch. It just would go on and on. So, I realized the difference, like, the difference in people, and that what kind of person I am when it comes to overeating and certain foods. So it's just been really peaceful and remarkably nice. I didn't get any gifts that were foods, bad foods, but my family exchanged those with each other, and even made comments like, oh, well, we got you this because we didn't want it. And I'm like, thank you, thank you so much. So a lot of my dear ones have gotten the memo, and they think I'm weird. I mean, they even mentioned it. They asked a few questions like, my sister wanted me to taste something that was okay to eat. I forgot even what it was. She's like, but you can have this, can't you? And I'm like, yeah, I just don't snack in between meals, and I got the kind of the look like, oh,
yeah.
But, it felt good. It just felt really good to not be obsessed with the food and not have the crashing that comes afterwards. And then all the feelings of like, depression really about the state of affairs. It's just moving in the right direction. And that has been the biggest Christmas blessing ever. So yesterday, we had a small gathering at my mom's, and we decided, because we weren't sure if we were going to have it because she was under the weather, we decided just to do visiting and gifts. And there was no food except for a few little things, but there wasn't a big meal. There wasn't anything. So that was perfect. I brought my lunch. I ate it, and it was a non-food Christmas gathering, which was kind of nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so I just can't believe it's been a year either, like a year since this group started, and how far mentally, not just losing weight, because it isn't a hardship to do it. It's just a mental change, a mental switch. And I'm just glad that we're in this group together, and the holiday was so much easier doing it this way. So Lulu, your example, before you, Lulu, and knowing someone was doing this, I just thought this is just impossible. People can't do it, I couldn't do it because I just didn't have a practice or an example.
Yeah.
And of course we know we could have done it, but it's really hard, when the rest of the world is dive bombing into
Yeah.
the treats and the meals. It's really hard to be a standalone person and say, I need to take care of myself and this isn't going to help me. That's that lie you say, I can just do it for this day or two and then I'll straighten up. But
yeah, we know
here
better
we
because
are
we learned
at 56 years old and
yeah, because we learned about all those lies we tell ourselves. We had a whole meeting on it once. We talked about all those lies. Just like, I can't fool myself anymore. I can't fool myself and talk myself into having a brownie and justifying it and expecting different results than I've gotten my whole life when I've done that. It's just a hard no. It's a hard no. So you mentioned like prior Christmases where you would, get yourself into the food and then you'd be food, and then you'd be depressed. Did you feel any depression about food and everything over the holidays? Like, did you ever feel like, like you were deprived, or did you have any kind of feelings like that?
No, I saw all the treats that I normally see and that I know what they taste like. I told myself that quite a bit. I already know what that tastes like. But I just knew, like, it's almost like this weird calm of, I don't want to do that. It doesn't serve me well. It'll bring me to a bad place. I'll lose my hopes and my dreams and the good feeling I have every day.
Yeah.
So it was really just like this really calm thing, not like, oh, I wish I could have that too. And, I used to, of course, I used to just be nuts about food. I just, fudge was something to have one in each cheek, a piece of, it was just like, it was like crazy, like the treat, like the focus on treats instead of like my family, instead of my like peaceful feelings, loving feelings, and, writing things out to like the neighbors and cards and gifts. And instead of exchanging food treats because I wasn't baking, I made these really nice, they're called Christmas potpourri, where you put a citrus fruit and cranberries and cloves and things, and you give it to someone to simmer on the stove so it smells really good.
Oh.
So I like doing that because it's like I wasn't really contributing to someone's sugar overload. Yeah. Even if they could handle it, it made me feel happy to be making something in the kitchen that really wasn't, going to be a health thing for anybody. Yeah. So, no, the feelings of peace were there, and good. and no depression about like, sugar induced or otherwise. So I think it's neat. It's just neat, the spiritual part of it, that when you take care of yourself, you start taking more care of yourself. Yeah. And you start realizing like self-abuse is not any way to, to live. So, yeah. Right. Yeah.
And of course, the Tuesday night meetings too. For anybody that's here that's not familiar with Tuesday nights, we meet Tuesday nights, same time, same channel, at the same Zoom link, and we do a spiritual book study, which is just very nourishing, because we nourish ourselves in a different way on Tuesday nights. On Thursday nights, we're talking about nourishing with food, and they just really go together, don't they, Nicole? You really found like those two are really blending well together?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And for me, it's just an exploration. I didn't really know about the book, the Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life book. Some of it really resonates from some other things I've learned, in the past, from like, just in the past, but applying it and thinking about it all week long really helps. It's just another form of really self-care. And I recommend it if you're interested, just to check it out.
Yeah. And that level of self-care, as you're you're studying that stuff and entertaining different ideas of how you can be a better version of yourself, just as a person expressing themselves, and who do you want to be in people's company? Like, who do you want to be, and how do I want to feel, and what do I want to think that's going to serve me well? And then it just makes the whole food thing seem like a less of a challenge to conquer. Changing your mind it's almost impossible, right? It almost feels impossible to think about changing your mind, but so just little by little we're changing our mind. And I'm
And
changing.
sometimes when you give something up, like you stop doing something, you're kind of left, at least I was, with like, okay, well, now what? Now what am I supposed to do with my feelings or with the reasons I was overeating to begin with? So you start, it just kind of frees up this time that if you refocus it on something like that, it really helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
excellent.
okay.
I'm so
Pam.
excited. Hey, Pam.
Hey, how are you?
Great.
Good.
How was your holiday?
It was great. It was I had no difficulty. When we were sitting, well, first I was in charge. I made myself in charge of. I prepared vegetables to do roasted vegetables. My mom did the whole lasagna and meats and chicken cutlets and bread and all the goodies. And I said, well, I'm going to bring Brussels sprouts and beets and asparagus, and I'm going to roast them. And she said, well, I was going to make you a salad too. I said, okay, thanks, And I made sure to know exactly what she had, and she had enough for me. But yeah, so I made homemade, which I never made before, hummus to bring, and it was really good. So I used that for like my protein with my salad. And she did have shrimp cocktail, so I had some shrimp. So I just kind of had mine. Everybody was snacking on things. I just kind of put mine aside and then made my salad while the lasagna was resting, and I was starting to eat before everybody else because I was hungry and it was past my time. And then because I knew we weren't going to be there later than 5:36. So I had my dinner stuff all prepped and home. So I got home about 6:15 and had my dinner. I was starting to get hungry while we were cleaning up. My mom's like, "Oh, well, I have more." I said, "No, Mom, I don't want a snack. I'll go home. I'll be very happy. My dinner's ready. All I have to do is warm it." And sitting there, we were playing a game, and the whole dining room table was covered. My mom makes so many cookies and candies, and all over the house, candy dishes full. But it's like nobody's eating as much anymore. Like all my kids, like they eat some, but they don't want as much either. And it's hard because she can't get that through her head. And then she's all upset because she has so much left. And I said, Mom, don't worry. We'll pack it all up and I'll give it to neighbors. I'll get it out there for you. So she would felt better then. But I do feel bad sometimes. I mean, I'm not going to eat it. She knows I'm not. But she's having a hard time with getting the understanding that her love of all those baked goods and candies, nobody else shares that. And it's kind of I feel bad for her in a sense. Yeah. Because that was always her love.
Food is love. Yeah.
Baking and sweets. She owned her business, she still does. So it's hard for her to watch her see that. But my kids they took some home, and they know they'll just throw it away if they have to. They're okay. Yeah. But just take it for grandma and let her, because it makes her feel good to make it for everybody. Yeah. But yeah, no, I didn't. Last year, I had been starting the plan, but not 100%. And it was before the meeting. And I did the whole, I can have a little, like a taste of this cookie. Like I didn't have whole cookies. I had quarters of cookies so I could taste each of them. And, that whole dance. Yeah. I didn't have any desire to do any of it today or yesterday. Yeah. It didn't, it looked pretty, and I remembered, like you said, Nicole, I remembered how things tasted, and they were tasty, but I didn't want them. I didn't feel like I was deprived of something.
Well, that's because you have something so much bigger today. You just have all this hope and this journey,
Right.
and all the changes in you. Like it's a big gamble.
Yeah, it is.
For a
It
quarter
is.
of a cookie.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's when my dad went and got his. He loves to go to the Italian pastry, get the cannolis, the sfiadelles, the pignoli cookies, which were up to $49 a pound this year. I was like, you people are crazy. 6 cookies for $50.
Wow.
And he's like, oh, he's trying to give me some. And I said, no, Dad, I don't eat that anymore. He's looking at me like baffled. And I said, don't you remember? And I would tell him the whole thing. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And he's like, okay, if that's what you want to do. Mm. But yeah, but other than that, like I said, the cannoli didn't bother me. Don't really want it.
Nice. And you enjoyed your 3 boys that were in town?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It was every year it seems to get better.
Yeah.
As they get older. And Tommy, he's the one that always has to travel to us, and he's usually pretty stressed out. And I've been dealing with him differently. I've been dealing with him with the flow
with the doubt
in my head, and he is much calmer, and he is kind of taking on that thing, going with the flow. I really, in Boston, and this time, it just amazed me that it's moving on to him without him actually studying it or knowing it.
And his experience with you is different because you've been changing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it is too. It's like that, and he didn't quite get the eating thing. He's like, "Oh, Mom, those salad kits." I said, "Tommy, I need you to eat probably 2 of those." Is the way. He said, "Really? I eat a half of one." I said, "Yeah, but that's how Mommy's been losing all this weight."
Yeah, filling up on all that veggie stuff. Yeah.
And he was so cute. My parents gave him money. My dad always thinks he has to have travel money, so he's he came over today to see him off and handed him this folded up money. It's his travel money. And on the way to the airport today, Tommy was sticking money in my bag, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, Pop gave me so much." And he's like, "And you need it for your vegetables and your salad stuff. Just take it." And he gave me an extra little bit. It's so meaningful, so sweet.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it was just so nice to see them blossoming like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice, Pam.
That was my little story, Barb.
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, but all good over here.
Good. Yay.
Yay, that's so exciting. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
Okay, Helen. Hi, Helen.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hi, Helen.
Happy holidays.
So nice to see you.
I know, Lulu, you asked for 100%, and I've been traveling for the last 9 days, and I think 95 to 98% is pretty darn good.
For traveling, wow, good job.
Yeah, it was not even hard, but Barb, I thought of you at one point because there was a store that was a sugar factory, and I said, "It's the Devil's Workshop." Right there. Not tempted. Went into another shop that was around since 1908, and it was a bakery that had everything under the sun in it. Never been in a place quite so packed with baked goods and little samples you could pick up along the way. And my daughter's eating away. And I'm good. And it felt good to be able just to feel so confident in the fact that I don't eat that. It's okay.
Yeah. And
I was fine. I wasn't hungry. And that's the beauty of this whole thing. I'm rarely hungry except at mealtime. Right. And so I made it through and had a great time. And we'll see what the first looks like. I don't know.
I noticed that you said when you were going through the bakery with all the samples and everything, you said, "I don't eat that." You didn't say, "I can't." There's a big difference in that feel. You don't go through that bakery saying, I can't, I just can't. You just don't. It's a whole different feel,
And I haven't been able to join for a while because I'm driving home from work on most Thursdays. And one thing that I've noticed lately as people have been sharing their successes, and just you can almost sense this rise in the self-esteem.
Yeah.
And just this power that you are gaining as you gain control over your life.
Yeah.
Whether it be Tuesday nights and Thursdays, I listen to both. I think that jointly it has been a tremendous help. But I've really, in me, it comes through in how everyone's expressing themselves. And it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, isn't it?
So, yeah.
It is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I can hear more confidence in people. Just confidence in their choices, confident in, in standing up for themselves and just saying, this is how it's going to be for me. Because we're learning how to not do that with other people, not telling other people what they need to do. It's like, I need to go look in the mirror and say, this is what we need to do today. This is what we need to do, and then just to keep your word to yourself. There's just nothing tastes better than that,
Yeah.
To just be a woman of your word to myself. I know I'm a woman of my word out there, but to be a woman of my word to myself is, no more let's make a deal,
I like that.
Yeah. That was my life. Let's make a deal, Okay, I'll go to the gym and then I'll have some potato chips and oh God, then I'll have the potato chips first and then I never make it to the gym. It's all that stuff. It's just, that's all in the past,
Mm-hmm.
And it paved the way to where I am today. So I don't regret any of it. It's just, that's the way it was, And I think it's a lot of my past experiences living in that crazy is part of the reason why I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, because I don't want to go there again, So good for you going through there. And so when you say you did 98%, you mean you didn't always have all your veg and stuff. You didn't eat any sugar or anything.
No, it's just, when you're ordering in a restaurant, I ordered sauteed vegetables for a side to add to the salad I had. And I don't know how much oil they put in there or whatnot, but you don't have control over that.
Right.
So
there's been times at restaurants, over the past 10 years, because I don't do restaurants very often, but if I get a veggie and it looks shiny, I'll count that as my fat. I'll be like, there's some oil. It's not pooled in oil. You don't see a puddle of it, because that would be a problem, because that's a lot more than a tablespoon. But if something just has a shine, I can tell a difference between a veggie that has a little bit of oil roasted in it and a steamed veggie. You can just know, the difference. And I'll just count that. And then I'll just put vinegar on the salad. I won't put the oil on the salad. And then that feels 100% to me.
do you know, sometimes I don't even need to add anything on my salad. Sometimes it just tastes good like it is. I don't always have to have a dressing even.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, except for lettuce probably isn't very delicious without anything on it.
Depends what else is with it.
Yeah, but a chopped salad, if you had just tomatoes and cucumber and onion and beets. I know some people don't like beets. Look at Barb. No beets for Barb. Beets is another devil. For Barb. Shredded carrots and then when you get 16 ounces, it's really not a huge amount because it's just it's not any fluffy lettucey things. All of that I could eat without a dressing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, good for you, Helen.
Thank you so much.
Very good. And this is going to be another great year.
Thank you, Helen. Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
So I was not 100%, so I'm not in your 100% category, but it wasn't no sugars. It wasn't the devil.
Good for you.
And it wasn't intentional, but when I was eating it, I didn't go, oh my God, I can't eat it. I just ate it. It was bread. It was a slice of bread that ended up on my plate, and I ate it, and I wasn't even thinking about it. It happened, and then later on, I'm like, oh, wow, I ate some bread. Like, because I wasn't focused on food, because I had my own food there, and I took it, and my mother-in-law slapped a piece of bread on my plate, and I didn't even think about it. I just ate it, and I was like, okay. But I didn't beat myself up about it because everything else I didn't have, so I was really fine with that. And I actually got in a little tizzy with my sister-in-law, the one I'm always talking about, because she gave me a bottle of wine for Christmas, and I said, oh, thank you. And I set it down under the tree. It was in one of those tinfoil wrap things. And I was like, I'm just going to leave it here. And no one will even know. And as we were leaving at the door, we were leaving before them. And she goes, oh, your wine, Christy. I'm like, actually, I'm just not going to have it. I haven't been drinking. She goes, what? And she got all upset. If you don't take it, I'm going to take it. I'm like, oh, go for it. And she got so upset that I didn't want her gift. And I wasn't going to say anything. And she was like the one pressuring it. I was just going to leave it and let someone else drink it, because there was no name on it on the bag. So I was just going to try to let it slide, because I didn't want it to come home, because I was afraid that maybe in the evening or something I would crack it open or whatever. But yeah, but other than that, the food wise, outside of the bread, I did good. I enjoyed my chicken, my what's it called? My Chick Renee.
Oh, you brought your own chicken. Oh, did you make it for everybody?
My sons can't believe how often I eat that.
Chick Renee.
I go into the store and I had to buy another bottle of the Dijon, and there's no sugar in it. I did make sure. And my oldest, he's like, Mom, don't you have this at home? I'm like, no, it's running low. I need to get more. Because I've noticed that it also tastes really good in my salad. Is like after I cut the chicken up and put it on my salad, I take a little bit more and I just do a little squirt. And then with the tablespoon of oil, it just tastes so good, like dressing it. I've been going through that like crazy. It's just yummy.
Yeah. You know what else is good? You can get a little dish and put your oil in it, put some vinegar in it, put a squirt of mustard in it, and whisk it up. It's like a dressing.
Oh, I should do that. Yeah.
Like lemon juice, little lemon juice.
Because I'm trying to get a little bite on each of it, so I should do that, like a dressing. I didn't even think of that. But I've been eating that chicken like crazy. It's my go-to.
Now, did you make it for everybody, or did you just bring a serving for yourself?
Myself.
Okay.
Yeah, just myself, because I knew no one else was going to want it.
They were having other stuff.
Yeah, they had all their other stuff. They had their meats, but it was too fatty for me. They had ham and a Spanish pork roast thing that they do, and all sorts of other stuff. And none of that even really tempted me. I was just I was actually looking at it. And I felt a little nauseous by looking at all the fat that was dripping off of the meats. And I was like, oh, I think at this point, I'm not losing lots and lots of weight. It's slowly, but just my stomach in general, I feel better. And I just feel like at this point, I might get a little sick if I eat it. I might have to run to the toilet if I ate all that fat. But yeah, no, other than that. So I guess you could call that 98%. The little bread. Yeah. But yeah. And everyone's because I used to I'm the baker of the family. I'm usually the one that's bringing all the pies and cookies. And they're like, what'd you bring for dessert? And I said, nothing. And they're like, what? I'm like, there's cookies at my house for my boys if you guys want, but I'm not driving to go get them. And they're like, why? You didn't bring? I go, because there's only a dozen. We only did just enough for my boys to have, and that was it. And they're like, I can't believe you didn't bake nothing. I'm like, no, because if I bake it, I'm going to want to eat it. I made just the cookies for my boys. That was it. And, so they were a little disappointed in that. But I don't know why, because two of them brought, store-bought dessert stuff, the stuff Pam was talking about, the Italians and Greek cookies and all that stuff. And, isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? But I guess not for them. It's not enough. But I I was fine with it. It was a very relaxed holiday. It was so wonderful though. And I think that's how I forgot that I was like eating the bread, because I wasn't focused on like, oh my gosh, I have to pull the dessert out. Oh my goodness, did someone put a spoon in the food that I brought, you know? I didn't, because I didn't take anything for anyone. I don't know if I seemed like a Scrooge or not, but I just didn't take anything. I was going to take roasted vegetables for everyone, and I'm glad I didn't, because there was a green bean casserole there, and I didn't have it because I think there was like milk and stuff in it, and I don't do so good with milk anyway, but that hardly got touched. Mm. And it had, like, it wasn't just green beans, it had other stuff in it, and that there was only a few scoops of that gone. So if I would have brought my most delicious roasted vegetables, I would have just had to cart them back home with me. But yeah, so that's it. I didn't feel bad about eating the bread, but I know it wasn't that great either. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm not gonna beat myself up over it.
Well, here's a new day. No bread today.
Yeah, no.
You're on track.
I've been relaxing. I'm being cozy Christy today because the holidays really made me tired. Staying up late. My boys did not want to go to sleep, and my youngest is a believer still with Santa. So I'm like, what? We put them to bed early, and you could hear them in their room chit-chatting because they have bunk beds, him and the older one. I'm like telling my husband, when in the world? I'm tired. When are they going to bed already? Well, next year I'm giving them melatonin. I was ready for bed by like 10:30, 11. It was 1 o'clock before I even heard them quiet down. Oh, and then they were up at 7:30. But yeah, kids, right?
Yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
A lot of us have been there, done that.
Yeah. Yep. So
well, good, Christy. Good.
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I heard everyone else is like I've already started my process of eating healthy in the family, and I hear, oh yeah, I'm gonna give up this for New Year's resolution, and I was waiting for one of them to say, what are you gonna give up? I'm like, I was gonna say, if I give up anything else, I'm not gonna be able to eat anything because I've already given up all this stuff. I guess I need to focus more on the bread though, make sure it don't slip in, be more focused on that, because I just didn't even think about it. I don't know why, but I wasn't eating making sandwiches or anything. My mother-in-law is 91 years old, and she's Latina, and she just goes, she doesn't even eat until everyone's done, and then she just eats a little bit. She's like one of those moms, and she's going around just setting food on people's plates and everything, and that's how it happened. And I'm like, she's like, oh, here's some bread for you, and bread for you, and bread for you, and quietly too. She doesn't even say anything. But thank you guys, and I hope everyone else had a peaceful Christmas as much as I did. Yeah. I love it. Good. I was actually very peaceful.
I'm glad you felt peaceful.
Yeah.
And next week is I think it's January 2nd, right? Is next Thursday? Next Thursday. Yeah, so we got a new year and a new month. And this could be, if this year wasn't your year, next year might be your year. This might be it. So just stick around. Stick around. Thanks, Christy.
The last meeting, Seattle Sue had shared a picture of herself, a little bit of a back then kind of picture. And so a few people sent me their pictures, and I could try to share them at some point in this meeting. It might be a little rusty and you might have to bear with me, but maybe at the end before we dance.
That sounds great.
Okay. Anybody else want to share their Christmas? Catherine from Los Angeles.
Hi, Catherine.
I just wanted to say that I have been with the group since the beginning, since the very beginning. I think Barb had asked that question, and I couldn't answer it because I was having trouble with my computer. And that's all I wanted to say.
You've been here from the beginning?
Yes.
You here every week?
Almost. I wasn't here for the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but prior to that, I think I was here every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you been enjoying the journey to healthier eating?
It's been a fail.
Okay.
When 100%, it's been a 100% fail. There we go.
Uh-oh. But you keep coming back though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You keep coming back.
I'm here, I'm listening
Good.
and failing. There we
Well,
go.
You know?
So, but anyhow, I wanted to say that I was here since day one.
Okay, well, great.
And that's it.
Good. Keep coming with us. Keep hanging with us.
Okay.
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks for speaking up. It's great to hear
Yes.
your voice
Yes.
and know you're here with us. Okay, Seattle Sue.
Hey, Sue.
Hello. I'm doing good with the Christmas food. The parties are still going on. Tomorrow I go to my daughter's for Christmas. I was going to comment on last week, always cooking for too many vegetables and my husband's eating all the food and, we were talking about that. And I love to cook for my husband. Well, he went for his cholesterol. His cholesterol level is now 100 total. Thanks to Lulu's Way, and that was, thought I'd share that with the benefit of cooking for your husband, Lulu's Way. It's a good thing. I had kind of another funny, we have a great mall here in Bellevue Square. I think it's like the only mall that decorates for Christmas anymore. 5 or 6 blocks away from the mall, every tree is lit up with lights. So I like to do a morning walk in the mall before it opens. And well, Santa was setting up his little house and I thought, oh, I'm going to take a picture of him. I'm going to go in there. Well, he came out and I said, oh, Santa, let me have a picture of you. Let's do a selfie. And he says, well, I'm not supposed to do that, young lady, but I'll make an exception for you. And I said, well, I can't get in line and sit on your lap. I'll break you. And he said, honey, I've had a couple of kids in here, these big kids. They must have weighed 200 pounds and you're nothing compared to them. I was like, oh, Santa, you gave me such a compliment. You don't know. So I got my picture with him and continued my walk around the mall. Anyway, I thought I'd share that funny with you. And doing great. Been doing some good cooking for Gary and I. We don't do our party with our family till tomorrow, but I've been doing salmon, roasted red potatoes, roasted broccoli, and then to up my vegetables, I had to put a sliced tomato on there. And just doing good food, big ass salads. And what are we having tonight? Oh, I'm going to do chicken in the Instapot and vegetables. And so all's going good. I'll get off now.
Good.
Yes.
Good to hear it, Sue.
Thanks, Sue. Anyone else?
Anyone
Wanna
else?
share?
Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about Christmas. If anybody has any questions, if somebody's new and wants to know, have any questions for us, or if you have any questions about the food plan, or you just want to share who you are, your story, anybody that's brand new that would like us to get to know you a little bit.
Christy, are you brand new?
Yes, I'm brand new. Hello. No, I have a question, Lulu. I was watching your videos and seeing your delicious breakfast you were doing during the holiday.
Yeah.
And you had one with the oatmeal.
Mm.
And I know that this is a silly question for you because I'm pretty sure I know the answer without asking you. But I know if you cook in your oats, you're cooking them in water. After you cook them in water, do you add anything else? Because for me, I like my oats creamy. and it's very weird tasting with adding more water to your cooked oats. Do you have any suggestions to that? Like normally I would add almond milk. So if I did that, could I just use that as my protein then or no? Like what would you suggest on that?
Well, the way I make oatmeal, I don't even cook it. I just do overnight.
Oh.
I do
Oh,
overnight
you do
oats.
it like a granola.
No, I do no. It's overnight oats. So I put the oatmeal and the water and cinnamon, and I just cover it, and it sits there overnight. And then the next morning, I take the cover off, and in that container, I put the nuts and the fruit and all that stuff, and it's just it's just done. To me, it's cooked.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What if you mashed some of it? Wouldn't that make because there's such thing as oat milk, which is oats and water.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering.
Yeah. Or
what
if I add oat milk to it, like afterwards? Because I like mine more like a cereal, like milky, not necessarily creamy, but like milk, like in it. That's how I would usually eat it. And I haven't been eating that much oatmeal because I'm afraid I'm gonna add too much of something to it and then be like way off. So that's why I was curious if you had any suggestions. I'll have to try the mashing part, but
I'm just thinking if you just took a fork and just kind of mashed some of it and then stirred it, that would just make it milky.
Right.
I would think
jump in here.
Yeah.
Lulu, you made a suggestion about oatmeal. I forgot when. One of your videos, peanut butter. Peanut butter in the oatmeal makes it so creamy.
Yeah.
Water. Oatmeal, just a spoonful of peanut butter.
That might
very creamy.
Be good for some people. I don't do peanut butter though. I can't do peanut butter.
Oh well.
I'll eat half the jar. Sorry.
Yeah, some people can't do anything.
I'll just have to give it a go and maybe adjust my taste buds a different way and try to get over the creamy bit. Maybe I'll do them overnight because I do know when you do overnight oats, they are softer. So maybe that would help it or something. Like, I don't know. I'll have to try overnight oats.
Christy, I was gonna just say, I love oatmeal. It's like almost my favorite breakfast.
Too, but I like with all the extra stuff, but I don't want to do that.
I make mine with 2.5 cups of water, and I microwave it for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And it's not thick and congealed. And once I put in my apple and, I don't even think, this isn't cream. It's just delicious. So it could just be adding water after the fact is a bad idea.
A little creamier. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because usually when I cook mine down, it absorbs everything. And then it's like almost dry. And I'm like, oh, I like it more. So I haven't been, and I love oatmeal when it gets cold. And I haven't been doing it because I'm worried I'm going to want to add all this stuff you shouldn't be adding to it. So, I'll have to try that, Nicole. Yeah. Add extra water to it. Sounds good.
Or I'll even take a picture of it tomorrow and send it to you so you can see how it is really.
Yeah. Because I want to get to eating oatmeal for the rest of the winter. I've been eating my boiled eggs, which I love.
But what you've been having is the grain.
I do with rice.
Oh, with rice, yeah.
Or sweet potato. I actually had, what do you call the orange ones? Yams? I get so confused. I've been having the orange sweet potatoes, the yams lately, and they're tasty with it. Or if I don't have the sweet potatoes, I'll have some grain. I do the basmati like you do. I love that. Yeah. And sometimes I'll do the scrambled egg thing or whatever. But if I have the boiled egg, I just have that with rice or whatever sweet potato that's left in the fridge. Yep. Or I know that you don't use vegetables in your breakfast, but I'll put tomatoes and stuff with mine just because I like tomatoes with the eggs. I don't know why it tastes good, but I figure there's no sugar or anything. Like it's not a sweetness. It's just the tomato. But yeah, but
you could do that for lunch, Christy. Like if you really wanted to have veggies with protein, you could do eggs and tomato at lunchtime.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna turn into an egg. I've been eating so much eggs and chicken. I might start making chicken noises soon.
Ah.
Because ever since I started eating like this, I've been noticing I've been eating a lot more chicken. And I'm like, that's funny because it's not like I was a vegetarian or anything before. But I'm not eating like fatty cheeseburgers and stuff anymore, you know, things like that, or greasy bacon and that for breakfast. That was just eggs and chicken and eggs and chicken. And I'm like, I've been eating a lot more chicken products lately.
Yeah, so just let us know. Let us know how you make out with the.
Let us. Yeah, Nicole, share a picture and and I might even give it a try tomorrow with the extra water. See how that goes.
How many ounces of water do you put in, Nicole?
Well, I put in 1.5 cups.
Oh, 1.5 cups in the 2 ounces.
And how much? And a half a cup of oats, right?
No, 2 ounces.
2 ounces of dry oats.
Yeah, by the ounces.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll also just tell you, Christy, Shelly in the chat wrote that she takes 3 ounces of banana and blends it with water, and it makes a delicious milk.
That I could do. I love bananas. That's a great idea.
You can add 3 ounces of chopped fruit to complete your serving. It's creamy and delish, so you could try that one too.
Do the partial banana and then the rest, the other part of my fruit. Mm-hmm. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, well, report back in the Facebook group. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, Barb.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, Christy. Do you microwave or cook it on the stovetop?
I cook it on the stovetop.
And it doesn't come out
probably why it cooks down. That's probably why all the water cooks down.
Yeah, you probably just need more water.
Yeah, I don't think you're using enough water.
For me, if I cook it on the stovetop, it's a creamier consistency, but you need more water.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. I'm not adding enough water then, because it seems like I'm like scooping it out and it seems so dry. So I always, before I would add a whole bunch of like, not regular milk because I can't have regular milk, but I'd use oat milk or almond milk, but like a lot of it. So I'd have to definitely measure that out, even if I did do that. But
the problem with those too is that if you look at
and all that too, so I just don't do that, and that's why I can't do the peanut butter because it would be that's like going to have a candy bar for me. Peanut butter, I just can't do it.
But if you look at the ingredients on almond milk and
there's sugars in it. That's why I was like,
not only is there sugars, Christie's, but there's stuff that I can't even pronounce on there. So,
it's not good.
It's just a bunch of garbage, in my humble opinion. But I would add more water, do a stovetop, and you'll have creamy oats.
I'm gonna try that. I didn't, and then also I might try the half banana thing, and then half, like 3 ounces banana, 3 ounces of whatever else. Usually it's strawberries or blueberries, but awesome. Thank you guys. That's why I had to ask, because I haven't been eating the oatmeal because of it. Because I'm like, no, I don't want to have it unless I know the proper way. And then I seen your oats on your video the other day. And I'm like, I was trying to look, and I'm like, they do look really dry. Does she not put anything on those? Thank you.
Thanks, Christy. Pam.
I did have another thing like the banana is you can also, Christy, use, sometimes I've done this, is part of your fruit as the unsweetened applesauce. Because it does add a little more liquidy into the oatmeal if you want it that way. Because I've done that just to change things up, just to have a different flavor. I used the apple pie seasoning and then swirled in some unsweetened applesauce. I would do half of the fruit serving. But I also have a question. Some sunflower butter. Is that like the same as peanut butter? I mean, I know it's in the same category, but what do you think? I received these little individual sunflower butters for free, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to use them, so I wanted to ask first.
Did you check? There's no sugar in them?
Right, I looked the brand up, and it's exactly what's in peanut, like the natural peanut butter, the sunflower, and nothing added.
Okay.
But I just wasn't sure if is that because of the sunflower oil I hear is sometimes not as good. Like, is it okay?
Sunflower seeds are seeds, nuts and seeds are on the plan.
Okay.
You know, so it would be 2 ounces of that nut butter, the
Right.
seed butter. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I just wasn't sure if it was because I don't know if I think it's a little higher in fat, so I just wasn't sure if
it's
it was a
higher
good choice.
higher in fat than peanut butter.
I thought I read that. I was trying to do some research this afternoon when I received it.
But you know something? Whether you're having sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds or chia seeds
Okay.
or you know all those seeds, like seeds are seeds, sesame seeds,
Okay.
and all the different nuts, and you know all the different nuts. There's almonds and walnuts and
Right.
pecans and cashews and peanuts and all kinds of macadamia. There's all kinds of nuts. Some of them are higher in fat than others, but it's just
But they're all
we just use them. You know,
okay.
just like, you know, 4 ounces of steak, there's a lot more fat than 4 ounces of cod.
Right,
but
right.
we
And
have,
that's it.
we
I
have,
tend to stay
Yeah.
on the leaner things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it's still on plan to have either
Okay.
one. So, yeah.
So I'm going to give it a try then and
Yeah,
maybe just use it once in a while.
yeah. I don't think that it has more fat though. Sunflower
I
seeds.
might have, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to read a whole bunch of different things. What is the fat on it?
You know, I had one. I gave it to my husband to have now because the one I had said it has sunflower seeds and oil in it. So
Oh,
I didn't.
yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
this
want
one
them.
didn't say
Okay.
that. Yeah, it said the salt.
Just
I will
sunflower.
make sure I check better, but
Sun-
I don't think it did say that. It's called
Okay.
Sun Butter.
Butter.
Is the
Mhm.
brand. So I'll check more into it.
Yeah, a lot of
'Cause the-
sun. I thought a lot of the sunflower seed butters had oil added because they weren't as fatty as some of the
Okay.
nut butters. So,
All right, I can do a little more research.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Thanks, Pam.
Who else wants to share with us? Come on. Don't be shy. Anybody have any tips and tricks in the kitchen? You always have those, Kathleen. You with your brilliance, Tupperware brilliance, Rubbermaid brilliance. Thank God for those. I have a bazillion of them.
Well, one of the reasons I haven't had anything to say is because I don't celebrate Christmas, and I haven't for many, many years. So I'm enjoying listening to everybody's stories. Yeah, I'm enjoying everybody's story. So that's, I don't really have much to add to that conversation. And as far as what I've been doing, I'll bring up one subject if you're looking for something to talk about that I am trying to figure out is my range.
Oh,
Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
sure.
Okay.
You must be getting very close, or you're in it now, huh?
Yeah, I thought I might be in it, so I did a little research. I went to the Mayo chart, and it goes from 5'6" to 5'7". I used to be 5'8". So I had my husband measure me again, and I'm 5'6" and 3/4". So I decided to go with the 5'7".
Yep.
Rather than the 5'6". So that range would be 121. Well, the middle of that range would be 137.
So you're going by 5'6".
5'7".
Oh, 5'7". Okay.
5'7".
Okay.
If I went to
Gotcha.
5'7",
No, I
the middle
gotcha.
of that
Yep.
range would be 137 pounds.
Yep.
So 2 pounds either way
Would be 135.
135 to 139.
Yes. If you want to go by that chart. Does that chart feel right?
Well, that's what I was kind of concerned about, because I have reached 145, and I've been 145 often in my life, and I felt very comfortable there. And I wasn't sure if I did want to lose any more. But I decided that
I'm going to just stay with what I'm doing, because I've been very slowly losing like 1 or 2 pounds a month anyway. So I think I'm going to just stay with what I'm doing and see how it feels and get into that range.
Yeah, get into the range, and then if it feels too low,
I can always add a little bit.
Yeah. If you're feeling like you might, if you're 145, you might get to 141 and say, you know something, enough. You know, it feels perfect for me. You don't have to do 2 more pounds to get into that range, you know. Get into that range. I mean, I feel really comfortable in that range, and people that I've given that chart to and suggested it in the middle have felt good in that range. So, but it doesn't mean that everybody does. You just got to pick what works for you, you know?
Yeah.
But just, decide when you decide that you want, there's a certain weight that you like to be at, that you're feeling like that's it. I would pick that as my ideal weight, and then pick your 2 up or 2 down from that. And then just work at staying in that range. And you're going to have to add food. If you're losing a pound a month, you got to stop losing a pound a month, you know? Yeah. So you just need a little something will stop it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, and I feel good. Like I've been this size often in my, like the times when I was really heavy were not as long periods of, being more average size. And so I feel, really comfortable where I am right now.
Yeah.
But and then the other thing is too, I'm older now, so I do notice my face is, there's more, more lines in there, it's not filled out as much and stuff like that. Yeah. But I also know that it's adjusting, like things do change over time.
Over time they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus the good nutrition, like my skin is clearer and stuff like that. Yeah. So, just taking time with it.
Right. Yeah. I always say, because tomorrow is my birthday. I'm going to turn 66 years old tomorrow. And, I am 66 years old. I have a 66-year-old body, I was just with my personal trainer today, and I told her, I really feel like I feel so much better. Like I can feel the difference in my body under my skin. But I said, but my skin, it's a loose garment. It's a loose garment, and it just is. And I'm not in the gym working on my skin. It's like, this is the skin I have. I've given birth to 2 kids, and I've been, over 100 pounds overweight a couple of times, a few times I've lost huge amounts of weight, and this is what I have. And, I'm not trying to look like anything. I'm not trying to look like I'm 45. Like I don't want to be 45. You know what I mean? I just don't want to be 45. I like being 66, and I look 66, and I don't need anybody to say, "Oh, you don't look 66. You look." That's not a compliment. It's just like, oh well, if I do look like it, I just do, But like I said, it's a loose garment, my skin on my body, but I'm feeling the changes in my body. I have to really feel them. I don't see them. I mean, I probably see it a little bit, but I feel it more than I see it. Like I can feel like the difference in my arms when I touch them. They just feel firmer, But then, I got the angel wings, Like, what are you going to do with that? It's like, everyone's got it, We just have an angel wing party. We all do that together. Me and the girls. We're like, whoop, let's take off, You were with us once when we did that. Weren't you, Pam? Weren't you with us once when we were doing that? Yeah, with the angel wings. Yeah. Yeah. God bless us.
I appreciate your thought about seeing where I feel comfortable. Yeah. Like, I mean, in this, I'm kind of, in this 5 pounds of, and then kind of sit with that for a little while and then choose that as my range rather than necessarily this. I might not feel good going that low. I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to wait until you get to a point that it doesn't feel right, and then you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, I'd like to put a couple back on, instead of saying, you know I won't feel good.
Yeah, because you
lower.
don't know how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to shortchange yourself. If you could feel exceptionally good in that range, you don't want to shortchange yourself there, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, for my biggest suggestion is to, you know, just kind of forget about it and let it happen. And, and when you pick a weight, just pick it and just love it. And don't be wondering about it and negotiating. And should I have stopped? And, you know, it's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you just feel you it just feels right to you, you know, but I've noticed all along, like there's been different times when I feel like you kind of get freaked out when you can feel your ribs all the time, you know?
Yeah.
That's new, you know, like if I lay down in bed, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, wow, I got ribs.
You know, and then if I look in the mirror behind me, I'm like, I can see my shoulder blades, but then like people have shoulder blades.
Yes.
Like you can see people's shoulder blades and they don't have to be a skeleton. Like,
right.
So just kind of wrapping your head around how it looks different and how it feels different, and it's still okay.
Still okay.
You know?
Yep. So my range is 131 to 135. And one time I got down to 129. I was 129. And I think that was just maybe sometime over the last couple of years. And that was definitely, I felt too thin. Yeah. I could feel it. Just those couple of pounds.
Yeah.
I was just like, no, like I don't, you know, that's not my range. That's not my range. I definitely felt like scrawny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just worked on getting back in the range, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe wait until, I mean, I didn't feel sickly or weak or anything. I just knew that that's not in my range. But, you know, maybe if you can wait till you feel that, because it will happen in a couple of pounds. Like when you get this close, it's not like losing 10 and seeing the difference. When you're losing just a couple, you feel a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was one thing that I wanted to. Good. I haven't thought about it until now.
Oh, good.
I was like last week, I'm like, I need to look at this and figure out what I'm doing here because I think I'm getting kind of close.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
You are, yeah. And your skin does look nice. Your face looks really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. You look so tiny in that little square.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Thanks.
Okay.
MF. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, thanks. I just wanted to share a tool I found online. I've been trying to experiment with different grains. So I was looking to see nutrition values of different things. And there's a website called My Food Data. And it has a tool section. They have a comparison tool. And that would be helpful for anyone who wants to compare nutrient values. And you just plug in, and you can plug in as many as 5 different things.
Ah.
And I mean, it's got the normal things that we don't care about, like calories. But you can go down and you can see the protein levels, different vitamin and mineral levels. So I found it very helpful to see different types of grains that I might want to try above and beyond just rice, because I'm not a big rice person. So I thought that might be helpful for other people.
Oh, what's that called? My Food Data?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a tool section, and under the tool section, there's a comparison tool. And you just plug in the items you want. Just make sure you pick the same amount for each one. I just click on 100 grams for each one, so you're comparing the same serving size, and it gives you everything you need to know about it.
Can you pick like 4 ounces?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically you could do like, you know, haddock, chicken breast, sirloin steak, shrimp, and just
Right.
see the different, or nuts, and then you could just see the different, how much fat each thing has, how many grams of protein everything has.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
And for me, the main things I was looking at was the
Grains.
vitamins and minerals, just to
Ah.
make sure. Because right now I'm eating. Some days I don't eat anything. Other days I eat one meal. Some days I eat two. So I want to make sure everything I'm eating is as nutrient dense as possible.
Mm.
And that's why I was looking at different grains to make sure I'm maximizing the meals I do eat.
And what did you find any particular grains that are the highest nutrition that you found?
Well, I think everybody probably knows that quinoa is
Yep.
one of the best for protein. I added amaranth because it had good protein and had some different mineral values that were higher. But I don't care for it much by itself. It'd probably be great as a porridge because it's kind of like the consistency of cream of wheat.
Mm.
So I'm going to add it to a blend. I'm going to do a blend like you do.
Yep.
And then quinoa. I found a rice blend at my local grocery store that has black rice, red rice, wild rice, and brown rice.
Mm.
So I figure if I do 3 or 4 different things, I'm going to maximize my nutrition.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good. Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
myfooddata.com.
Well, should I try to share the
Yes.
pictures? Okay.
Yes.
Let me try this.
Oh, it's a surprise. Who sent them?
Well, first you have to tell me if you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can move all this stuff out of my way.
There we go.
Okay. Can you see just the screen, or do you
Just-
see everything?
Just the
Okay,
picture
great.
that says, yep, transforming.
Great. Okay. Well, let me see how I can.
Look at Pam. Look at you, Pam.
Great. Those are great.
Wow. Look
Amazing.
at
Just
you.
amazing.
So inspiring.
Mhm.
Great job, Pam.
Yeah,
Rock
look
star.
at you. You're so
Pam, do you have any
little.
commentary?
You're so little. Look at you. You're so little. Oh my goodness.
Just that the farthest one where I'm sitting, that was just last January.
Wow.
Wow.
The other one in the tank top was a few years ago.
Mm.
So there was a lot of puffiness from the steroids.
Mm.
But I know the other one was from January because that was the train coming home from Colorado last year in January.
Wow.
And then I started 100% February 2nd.
And look what,
I was
look what
only
you've
doing
done.
about 80% all fall.
Yeah.
Then I crashed in the winter. Didn't go off completely, but was just frustrated. And that's when I talked to you, Lulu, in February. And then
Yep.
February till now is
Yep.
when I've been 100%.
Yeah, and look at you. Look at what 100%
I
does.
can't. Like I was showing my son because I had gathered these,
Yeah.
because he hadn't seen me since the January picture. When he saw me in Boston was the first time he'd seen me.
Yeah.
And at first he didn't get it, and then the next day my mom brought it up again, and he looked again. He goes, "Wow, Mom!" I didn't register. I don't think even to him that's what I looked like.
Mm.
I don't know. It's bizarre. Move on.
Just terrific, though.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our kids see us differently, right, Pam?
Yeah, that's how it
my
felt. Like
youngest says he's 9 and he goes, "Mom, I don't know what you're always talking about. You're not fat. You're beautiful."
Wow.
Well, you tell him you want to be healthy. That's
Yes.
what
Yeah,
you tell him.
yes.
Don't
That's
worry
what
about
I'm
the
saying. I
fat
want to
part.
be
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next up, Kathleen.
Kathleen, look at you.
Oh.
Look at you.
Oh my gosh.
Just-
It doesn't even look like you, Kathleen. You're so different looking. Wow. You're so
Yeah.
tiny now.
I
In that
know.
corner. in that little square of yours.
Gorgeous.
Wow.
This people have.
Beautiful.
I didn't have any recent pictures, but this one with the purple sweater was just taken last week,
Yeah.
last Saturday.
Gorgeous.
Your hair looks beautiful.
Yeah.
You look so
Yeah.
trim.
Thank
And you look
you.
so healthy.
And
I love your hair. I love your hair.
thank you. The one on the end is, I think it was our 25th wedding anniversary. And the one on the right with the purple sweater is what I look like when Dave married me.
Wow.
And so we'll be celebrating, I think it's our 29th this year. And he's very, very grateful for all the changes. And it's not just the weight, it's
Right.
the person.
Yeah.
He just is so grateful that
That you
I'm
love
taking-
yourself. That you love
that I'm
yourself.
taking such
Yeah.
good care of myself. Yeah. The transformation. And I know Christy said this one time too, when we were you were talking about how your husband notices you just have more patience.
Yeah.
It's just, and it takes the pressure off him. He's not trying to make me happy because he can't.
Yeah.
I can make myself happy. And then the other one, I do have to say that this is a funny one, and that is really a bad picture in the middle. And the reason I put that in there was that's when I was I was trying to embrace my fatness, you know. Everybody.
You were trying to make peace with it. You were trying to make
I
peace
was
with it.
just like, I'm gonna just wear, and the shirt I have on, I actually pieced together from things I had got at the thrift shop because I do like to sew. So it was very creative top, and I was just like, but I've never really been like that. Like I always kind of dress very conservatively, and but anyway, I was going through this. And then when I ever saw that picture, I was like, oh my God, I am not one of these people that's just going to embrace being fat and wearing red tops. It's not me. It's not me. But anyway, I put it in there because that was a phase I was going through.
Yeah.
And I was probably, the one on the left, I was probably about 237 on our anniversary. And the one on the right in the purple sweater was 145. So,
Wow.
Just amazing.
Yes.
thank you, Lulu.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody here.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody's supporting everybody. Yep.
all the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, the last one was me.
Oh, Nicole.
Wow.
So, yeah, the one on the far right was yesterday in my kitchen.
Look at you.
Oh,
wow.
Look at
Oh,
you with that
you
red
look so
sweater.
beautiful.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and this,
God.
the ones like this one in the blue striped, I was at a work thing, right. I don't know when that was, but right after we went back to work from COVID. And that top I had, I mean, I don't know. That's just where I was again at 281. So, my highest, I have pictures of my highest when I'm a bit younger, but I didn't include those, but that was 281. And the one on the right is 209. So, and the other two are just sort of in between the last couple of years.
And even the one on the right, you said you're 209. You don't look 209. You
How
look
tall
under
are you,
200.
Nicole?
Yeah, are you tall?
Well, yeah, I'm really tall. I'm 5'2.5".
Well, then you don't look 209.
Well, you're
Then
carrying it
you
really
look
good.
amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, I was looking through all these pictures too, and I have a lot more when I'm younger and at 312, and I was showing them to my husband, and he said, I don't like that you're putting these together as the pictures at your worst, because I think you're beautiful and I love you. And I'm like, that's so sweet, but I wasn't really loving myself, So, and again, not healthy. So it's just, yes, all I can say is thank you, Lulu, for being an example that we could follow, because it just means the world, means the world to me. So, and one thing I'll just say is that I think about all the time is now, and I'm not tempted and don't have cravings, but just that food comes with consequences. Good food comes with consequences that are good. You know, junk food and eating too much food comes with consequences that are bad. And it just took a really long time to see it. So I don't want to mess around.
Yeah.
Hey, can I say something, Nicole?
Yeah.
And Lulu, you might. But if we just put all the now pictures up, you can just see confidence and happiness just coming out of everybody's pores that put these pictures up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the confidence that Nicole has in that picture on the right, and Kathleen and all of them had that. It's just, oh, it's so good, and they look so happy.
I know.
You all look great.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know, I want to just say one more thing, Nicole. Twice tonight you said, you referred to me as an example, and that's really what I am. I'm not a teacher. I'm just an example. And you're all becoming examples as well. And you'll be inspiring people as well. You know, who was it that somebody here was saying it's kind of rubbing off on, they notice it's rubbing off on other people. You know, it's just, that's how all of this started, was just me being an example. It wasn't me saying, look at me, let me show you how to do this. You know, people just got very curious. They were just watching my videos and going like, what in the heck are you doing? And what are you doing that you keep doing it? Like, what are you doing? You keep doing it. And I think that's what it was. So a lot of time had to go by. Like, I had to have my channel for like a year before people just got really curious and actually saw me as an example, you know? Because, I mean, you can see anybody on the internet having a healthy meal. You don't know what's going on the next meal, you know? Or, you know, they're cooking the next thing they're making junk food. So it's like they're just eating. You know, people, because a lot of people cook on their channels, especially in van life, because people want to see how you put a meal together in a van. And if you're making a sandwich in a van, people want to see you make a sandwich, you know? But, you know, I always just say, I'm just doing what I do, you know? And I think that's what got people curious and was just being an example. And it's what's happening to all of you, you know? Because now as new people show up here, you know, Nicole's an example, and Pam's an example, and Kathleen, all the pictures that we saw tonight, you know? It's like there's just our examples of what it looks like when you don't just want it and you don't just need it, but you do it. You know, that's what the example is, you know? So, you know, we have a new year coming up, and I mean, it doesn't really mean much to me anymore as far as weight goes, because it always meant the world to me, you know, because that was going to be when everything changed, and it never did. Never did. In fact, when I quit drinking, it was December 28th. Oh my goodness. That in 2 days from now, it will be 11 years since I had a drink. And I quit on December 28th, and people were like, what drunk quits drinking like 3 days before New Year's Eve? Like, it would always be New Year's Day. It would always be. No, you know something? I was done. I was done. That was the day I was done. And then, you know, I wasn't done with the food yet at that point. I was still smoking and I was still eating. A few months later, by the grace of God, I was like, the butt's gotta go. Like, I'm just done. I'm done with those, you know. Still wasn't done with the food. You know, that took another month. And it just overwhelming. Like, I don't know what it was about that day. I don't even know what day of the week it was. It was the day. I should look up. I know what day. I know the date. I would be interesting to see what day of the week it was. I don't think it was a Monday. I don't know.
What was the date, Lulu?
It was April 17th. No.
What year?
or was it April 12th? No, it was April 12th. 10 years ago. So it would be 2014. If this past April made 10 years, so would have that been the 14th to the 2024? Or would it be the
You're
3rd?
on mute, Barb.
It's a Saturday.
A Saturday! Who stops eating on a Saturday? You know what I'm saying? When you're done, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It doesn't matter what the calendar says. You're just done. You know, but I do know that there's a new year coming up, and it can just be a fabulous year for anybody that's, been here, listening, lurking, hoping, wishing, dreaming, imagining, and you can just do it, So I'm just so excited for all of you that are doing it. I'm excited for all of you that are here, that keep showing up and waiting for your day. Because you got to kind of come here. This will get you going, So, but I should get my pictures out. I don't have a ton of pitches like at my heaviest weight. I have a couple of doozies though, and I've shown them here.
You held them up once. Yep.
Yeah,
if anyone else wants to send me pictures too like this, I'll put them together and periodically we can. I think it's just a beautiful thing to see.
It is
our progress.
Yeah, especially when we all we all know each other now, so well.